Purism, the company behind the Librem privacy-focused phone with the rather nice hardware toggle switches and a Linux phone at that, so we should be supportive of them. So they've released a USA version of their Librem5 phone, which will be retailing for $1,999. So I should mention this is where they've guaranteed the supply chain and the phone is being assembled in the US of A. So that does sound quite a lot for the smartphone, and for comparison's sake, I should mention that the normal Librem 5 phone retails for $699. So how does that compare with the most expensive smartphones? Because it does sound like quite a lot to me. I didn't pay anywhere near that much for my, what have I got? A Pixel, first generation Google Pixel, which I'm not sure I fancy upgrading. But anyway, what are the most expensive smartphones? Let's see, $176,000. So we've got all the way up to millions, 1.3 million, 8 million, 15.3 million. Yes, and I'm sure they have a production run of 1, 2, low number single figures, and they're consisting entirely of jewelry. Okay. More realistically, what does iPhone 11 thing retail for? $1,249. So yeah, ballpark here, we're going to say that is more expensive than an iPhone. Right. So, with that out of the way, actually let's go to the press release first. So Purism now offers an important Librem 5 option for our customers that have particular concerns around the security and the supply chain. So if there is any device that should have as secure a supply chain as possible, it's a phone. Fair point, you do an awful lot with your phones. Having a secure, auditable, US-based supply chain, including parts procurement, fabrication, testing, assembly, and fulfillment, all within the same facility, is the best possible security story. Of course, this only counts if you're a US resident. So perhaps not for everyone in the world, because what is it the NSA like to do? That's it. They like to spy on foreigners, so that's everyone outside the USA. So just throwing that one in there, really. And this is the whole reason why we have this privacy industry, really, because of the USA and GCHQ. Not just blaming the Americans entirely. I think many nations are as bad as each other. Anyway, that was the standard Librem 5 phone. I'm half tempted with it. I'm kind of a bit put off with the desktop though. I think they went for the GNOME desktop, whereas I'm more of a KDE fan. So it's kind of what holds me back there. But the specs aren't really quite what you'd expect for that price of phone. And the guaranteed security of a supply chain is what you're going to be paying the premium for, not necessarily the actual components, which are still going to be made elsewhere in fabrication plants in what we got, South Korea, like Samsung. Anything like the memory would definitely be made there. CPUs going to be Taiwan, China, but the assembly will be in America. So I'm just looking at the spec there. So we've got quad-core 1.5 gigahertz CPU, 5.7 inch IPS TFT screen at that's not even HD 1080, it's 720 by 1440, fairly low resolution, 3 gig of RAM and 32 gig of internal storage, but hey, at least it'll have a headphone jack. Only contains a couple of cameras, but it does have interchangeable battery, a user replaceable battery. And just finally to look at the OMG Ubuntu article, so this is... So Librem5 USA costs more than double the price of the regular version, and for that additional cost you will get exactly the same Linux phone as the regular Librem5 buyers. The same spec, the same OS, the same phone mostly. The added value comes from the secure US-based supply chain used to make it. Don't get confused, this doesn't mean all the components being used in the Librem5 are being made in America. Indeed, Purism themselves note the modem chip still comes from Germany, the chassis from China, and the Wi-Fi chip from India. And one assumes the CPU and battery will also come from elsewhere, as I've already mentioned. But the difference, the one that Purism is clearly banking on people paying a premium for, is the reassurance given by them overseeing complete assembly and integration from PCBA to the modem to the final phone. And Librem5 USA was shipped backers around the same time as the standard model, which is currently scheduled for Q3 of 2020. So I think that is quite a high price to pay for a privacy-focused phone. I mean, is it worth it? I mean, who knows? I mean, is it really worth it to have one of those iPhones that's completely encrusted in jewels? I mean, clearly someone thinks there is, so clearly there could be a market for this Librem5 USA phone. Who's to say? I can't say it's good or bad. Is it for me? No, not really. But would I rather this than a phone made in China? Well, probably honestly I would, but I'm not paying that much for a premium for it. I mean, had it been like the same price as the Chinese phone, then yeah, that would be tempting. So what do you think? Would you be willing to pay this price for something which we've been told we need? Well, thanks for watching. See you later.